Hi, Jimmy. How are you?
Well, thank you.
Okay, and Alejandro. Good to see you. Alejandro.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys. This is our 15th session. Uh, I wanted you to stay here, to be here in this session. It's important because today we are going to see some tips in to attend or present a good final test. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sir, there are some recommendations that you need to follow to get a high score in your final test. First, I would like to know if you, Alejandro, if you saw the videos in the chat, the
The
last
last
video.
one, no, no.
Okay, recommend to see the last videos because it's maybe you can find some vocabulary that it's important you to know that you can use in the final test. Okay,
Okay.
this test is the like the CAE test, CAT test, Cambridge. I don't know exam, or Cambridge something exam. I don't remember now, but it consists of 4 parts. In each one of these parts have certain particular situations. All Everything is speaking, only speaking. So okay.
Okay.
So I would like to share with you a couple of videos where we can see these tips to get a high score. Okay, guys. Hold a second,
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Give me 1 second, please. Hold a second. Okay.
You can learn how to improve your score. Parts 1 and 2 of the CAE speaking exam. In parts 1 and 2, there are some specific things that you can do that will help you to perform well. As you may know, part 1 involves a 2-minute conversation during which candidates take turns answering questions. The examiner will ask you to speak about everyday topics, and the questions will be quite simple. So the first tip is to always develop your answer. You don't have a lot of time, so it's important to use your time to demonstrate your English skills. So how should you do this? Give long, full answers. Simple yes or no answers are certainly not enough. Instead, add reasons, details, and examples to everything that you say. Now, let's look at an example of this with a sample question. Imagine you're asked this question. What keeps you motivated to learn English? What would you say? Here's a sample answer. I enjoy learning English because I can speak with my foreign friends. Now, this answer's fine, but it could be better if we add more reasons, examples, and details. Take a look at this. I enjoy learning English because I can speak with foreign friends. For example, one of my acquaintances here is Polish, and English is a mutual language we can both understand. I also work in a multinational company, and I need to speak English a lot. You can see that the speaker has developed the point by adding a personal story. This also allows you to use some more impressive vocabulary, such as acquaintances and multinational. Of course, it's important not to just keep speaking and speaking. Your answer needs to have a clear end. But in the exam, you will be given some time, So develop your ideas and make sure you take advantage of your speaking time to say as much as you can. Tip number 2, learn keywords related to everyday topics. In part 1, the questions are about very general topics, just like when you first meet someone. This can make it easier to prepare for part 1, and here's how. It means it's possible for us to make some predictions about what you'll be asked. Common part 1 topics include where you live, leisure time, work, study, future plans, and holiday experiences. Now, it's probably not a good idea to prepare complete phrases because the examiners are trained to look for this. But it is, however, useful to learn a few advanced level keywords around each topic. This way, you'll have a rich vocabulary prepared that you can use naturally. So let's look at an example using the topic leisure time. Imagine you were asked the question, what do you do at the weekend? What would you say? If you're interested in surfing, your answer might be something like this. I usually go surfing. This answer's okay, but it doesn't really demonstrate a lot of advanced English. Now, before the exam, if you do a bit of research, you might then be able to say that you're quite fanatical about surfing, or that it's something that helps you to unwind, or it's an activity in which you can get out and about. Perhaps you're afraid of shark attacks. With a bit of preparation, you'll be in a better place to give a stronger answer. I usually go surfing. This is something I'm really fanatical about. It lets me exercise, unwind, and get out and about. I prefer to surf in isolated locations, though I'm a little afraid of shark attacks these days. Aim to learn 5 or 6 new words for each of the most common topic areas in part 1. You probably won't use all of them, but you might use 1 or 2. Now, even using 1 or 2 high-level words and phrases can make a difference to your vocabulary score. Now we'll look at part 2 of the CAE speaking exam. What happens in this part? The goal in this section is to compare 2 pictures and to speculate about the people in them. You have a minute to answer, and you speak only to the examiner. So what are the examiners looking for here? The examiners want to see that you can put your thoughts into a well-organised 1-minute answer. So, my first tip for part 2 is learn how to compare and speculate. Now, this is a key part of this task, and you can and should prepare for it. One aspect of this is using linking words to connect your ideas and sentences. Let's look at how we can do this using these pictures of people reading as an example. The question might be, compare why these people are reading and say how they might be feeling. Let's look at comparing first. For things that are similar, use language like both, each, similarly, or likewise, or even in the same way. We can also see that. For example, this man may be reading for pleasure, and we can also see that she appears to be enjoying herself. Or, similarly, she appears to be enjoying herself. In the same way, she appears to be enjoying herself. Now, for things that are different, use meanwhile, whereas, or even by contrast. On the other hand, for example, the man is reading alone. By contrast, this woman seems to be reading to some children. On the other hand, the woman seems to be reading to some children. Or, meanwhile, the woman seems to be reading to some children. Now, in addition to comparing and contrasting, you need to know how to speculate. You shouldn't just say what you see. You also need to talk about the ideas and possibilities that the picture represents. Some useful structures include might, perhaps, maybe, it seems like. For example, it seems like he's reading something very serious and important. Perhaps she's reading the children a fairy story. You can also use if sentences to speculate what you would do or how you would feel if you were in the situation. If I were her, I'd be very happy. If that were me, I'd fall asleep. So it's essential that you study this kind of language and use it when you practice. My next tip for part 2 of the CAE speaking exam is don't waste time. Firstly, choose your pictures as soon as you can. The best way to do this is to choose 2 pictures that seem very different. You should also begin comparing immediately. Don't waste time telling the examiner which pictures you want to talk about. Next, don't paraphrase or repeat the question. This is one certain way to waste time. And finally, speak for the whole minute. This leads us to our next point. Have a plan in case you don't know what to say. Some students find it helpful to develop a few automatic backup ideas for comparison in case they run out of things to talk about. These are simple ideas that you can use for any picture. This way, if you get stuck and you can't think of anything else to say, you can use these so that you don't just stop talking. These ideas might be about what the people are wearing, or how old they are, or even how many people there are. The people in this picture are all wearing the same clothes. Likewise, these people seem to be all dressed in white. Better still, ask yourself what the people might be thinking, feeling, or doing. These kinds of comparisons are always useful, as they allow for a lot of speculation. This image shows people singing, whereas these people appear to be doing some kind of martial art. The main point is that you have some questions you can ask yourself in any situation. What ideas can you think of? Tip number 6, don't spend all the time describing. This is probably the most important tip because it's the biggest mistake that candidates make. You don't need to say what you see, and you don't need to describe the pictures at all. Your job is to make comparisons and speculate about the pictures, not to say what the pictures show. If you spend too much time describing, you're not giving yourself the opportunity to demonstrate your abilities to compare and speculate in a longer answer. Okay, so how can you practice and prepare for part 2 of the CAE speaking test? The best thing that you can do is to practice with as many different images as possible. It's always better doing this with a friend or a teacher, but you can also do this alone with a timer. You can even make your own combinations of sample images simply by doing a Google search and picking 2 random images. You could search for people on holiday, or people eating, or groups of people. Then imagine a question, remembering that the typical question format contains 2 parts. 1, compare the 2 situations, and 2, speculate on how the people may be feeling or the reasons for their behaviour. So we might get something like this. Compare how these people are enjoying their holidays and say how they might be feeling. Now I'm going to give you an example answer, and I want you to try and think of how I could improve this. These people are enjoying their holidays with their family. They are sitting outside with their dogs. There are 2 adults and they're happy. These people are about to get on a plane. They're in a desert. Now, let's stop right there. What's wrong with this answer, and how could it be improved? Can you tell me? Firstly, I'm simply describing the pictures, but we talked about how important it is to compare and contrast. Secondly, I'm not using any language or linking words to do this. What else am I doing wrong? I'm also not speculating. Again, I'm simply describing what I'm looking at. In addition, I'm going way too slow. Let's start again. This image seems to show a family spending the holiday together. In the same way, this might be a couple. However, it doesn't look like they have their children with them. In this picture, the family seems to be at home or at a holiday house, whereas in this picture, these people appear to be at some kind of exotic destination, far away from civilization. There are animals in this photo, whereas there are only people in this one. Both scenes show people having a holiday outdoors. I suppose the key difference is that the people in this image appear to be having a real adventure and are free, whereas the people here are spending time with family. If it were me, I'd prefer to be going on this kind of holiday, flying around in a plane in a new and wild place. As you can see, I've focused on comparing and contrasting as much as possible, using a variety of language structures. I've also continued to speculate all the way through. I've used both simple comparisons, like whether there are animals in the photo, as well as more complex ones, speculating that one is a family holiday, whereas the other is an adventure. After this, the big challenge is practicing to do all this in the time limits. That's the end of the lesson. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found it useful. You can see more of our free lessons on our website, oxfordonlineenglish.com. In the video description, you'll see a link to this lesson.
Okay, guys. So okay. Okay, guys. This is the first part 1 and 2 of the final test. Okay. Remember, the first part is important because you're going to answer some simple questions. It's the easier part of the test. You only need to answer questions. And a tip is, for example, Jimmy. Jimmy is not here.
Yeah, he's still here.
Okay, Jimmy. For example, if a question, what sport do you like to practice? And you don't practice any sport, it's like as an answer, like is a test. You can tell, oh, teacher, I don't practice any sport, but sometimes I like to, I don't know, to play with a game of chess. Or okay, it's important.
Okay.
Or I don't like the play. I don't practice any sport, but I like to play PlayStation in my free time. Important. It's that you speak, that you demonstrate your vocabulary to the examiner. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Okay.
Don't be
Okay.
enclosed in a negative answer. No, teacher, I don't practice. No, because the important thing is to demonstrate your skills, your speaking skills. The second part, that part is simple. There are simple questions where you can use 15 or 20. You can expand your answer. You can tell many examples. Are going to be 2 or 3 questions each one of you, like this guy in the video said. It could be your questions about your free time, your weekend activities, what you do on holidays. Okay, it's not a complicated part. It's simple. For the reasons, we are not going to practice in this reason, but in the second part, I would like. Hold a second. I would like to practice with you this part, okay? Okay. Okay, Alejandro, please.
Okay.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I see.
Okay, please. Describe me, compare, and speculate about these 2 pictures.
Okay. Firstly, it seems we have 2 images that describe holiday, cultural holiday in their city or in their country. in the first image, we have a couple of women that wear some colored costumes. By the other hand, we only have men's and one. Give me a second.
Ball.
Ball. Yeah, ball. One ball. Thank you, Jimmy. It seems that all of they're running for the ball. We see that the man wears a white pant, some of the red clothes. That's all that I can say.
Okay, time's up. Okay. First, Alejandro. First, you have to use your time, like the guy said. Don't use your time just for describing. Okay.
Okay.
You have. Let me check here in the part. I'm going to share you all the tips and the parts about the test. The first part, simple question. Second part, a question, and you have 2 minutes to answer the questions. Let me share with you the tips and the parts. Okay. Okay. No. Hold a second, please, guys. I can't find the Brussels monitoring adoption guide and rubric.
Question.
Guide and rubric. Yep. Okay.
Hojas de árbol es leaves.
Las hojas, leaves.
Sí, las hojas de árbol. Las hojas.
Leaves. Hojas de árbol. Let me check. Tree leaves. Leaves or hojas. Okay. Look, in the first part, you have 2 minutes for a conversation where you are going to answer some question about everyday activities. Okay. The second part, it's 1 minute to compare 2 pictures and speculate about them. Okay, remember, in the first part, you have 2 minutes. In the second part, you have 1 minute. 1 minute, Alejandro, that you don't have to use all of it in describing. First, it's good to describe. You could say, oh no, after that, after give you the recommendation, I would like to show again the picture. Please, Jimmy. Okay. See the picture. See the picture at. Okay. I'm going to show it. Okay. Okay, Jimmy. Talk to me about these 2 pictures. Okay, you have 1 minute. Go ahead. 1 minute.
It's not the same?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Speculate and describe, right?
Yeah, describe. What do you see? What do you see? I compare and describe these 2 pictures.
Okay. And in the image, in the first image, we can see a difference in the country or the culture. Maybe the first image is a Colombian party, and the second one is a Spain party. The first one, they have colorful customs. Some women are taking flowers on their heads. Difference the other way. In the other image, is the corrida de toros, where they run away from bulls. It's a really dangerous. Maybe it's a really dangerous activity, but it's tradition. Um,
That's all?
um,
Okay, yeah.
no,
You have
no, no,
already 1 minute.
no,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I forgot one.
Guys,
The corrida de
remember.
toros, they're just months.
Okay.
No, they're months.
I recommend not describing all the whole minute. Okay, guys, remember, you have to use the minute, first describing, second comparing, and speculating. Okay?
Okay.
I mean, let's say again. First, describing. You can use 20-second describing, 20 comparing, and 20 speculating. For example, you could say in the first, you said perfect. The first part you said perfect. Okay, the top picture, we can see women using long skirts, long colored skirts with some flower in their head. And in the second pictures, we can see men running from the bull using white clothing. It's they are they are a party from Spain. I think so. I think this woman seems to be very happy, and the man seems to be scared. I know because they are running from the ball. They don't want to be strike for the ball. Um, they are they are holidays in these two picture. We can see holidays. In the top picture, I think it's an Colombian or Mexican holiday, and the second one is a Spain holiday. Something like this. Okay, remember, guys, describing, speculating, and comparing. Okay,
Okay.
don't use all the whole minute only describing. Like
Okay.
this guy said, it's important. It's important to compare because comparing you can show all your skills. Okay, this is the first two parts. The second parts, I'm going to show you the second video, the part 3 and 4 about the CIA speaking test. Okay, let me share with you the second video. Hold a second, please, guys. Okay, guys, please turn off your microphones.
Down.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Jack.
Hold a second, please. Hold a second.
How to improve your and 4 DIE speaking exam.
Hold a second, please. Okay.
Hello, I'm Jack, and welcome to Oxford Online English. In this lesson, you can learn how to improve your score in parts 3 and 4 of the CAE speaking exam. Let's first look at part 3. In part 3, you'll discuss a question based around 5 or more related points. Let's look at a sample question. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these different activities, the meeting people and getting fit? You'll have 2 minutes to do this, and you'll talk to the other candidate or candidates. You won't talk to the examiner during part 3. After 2 minutes, the examiner will ask you to make a decision with your partner about the topic you just talked about. For example, the examiner might ask, which of these activities do you think is the most beneficial for young people? You'll have a minute to discuss the question. Towards the end of the minute, you should try to come to a conclusion together. Now, if you can't agree on a decision, then what? It's okay, you won't lose marks. Just finish by summarising your 2 different opinions. Let's look at some tips you can use in part 3 of the CAE speaking test. My first tip is to learn conversation fillers. What do you do if you don't know what to say? It's always better to say something rather than nothing, right? Remember, the examiners can't mark you if you're silent. That's why it's a good idea to use conversation fillers. These are phrases you can use to give yourself some extra thinking time. Here are 2 examples. Let me think about that for a moment. That's an interesting question. Now let's do an exercise to practice this. Here are 6 phrases. However, 3 of them are probably more likely to be used as fillers. Can you guess which ones they are? Do you know what I mean? I'd never really thought about that, but I suppose that's exactly how I feel. Let me consider this for a moment. It's quite complicated. Fantastic. Do you mind if I just add something? To be honest, that's not a question I've ever thought about before. Which ones did you guess? Did you guess these ones? Now, don't use these fillers too much. You'll waste time, and it won't sound natural. However, knowing 1 or 2 filler phrases can really help you if you have nothing to say. Tip number 2. Focus on depth and detail. To score highly, it's not necessarily to talk about all the points in part 3. Better to talk about 3 or 4 points in depth. Let's look at the sample question again. What are the advantages and disadvantages of these different activities for meeting people and getting fit? Which activities would you choose to talk about? I'd probably talk about chess, soccer and hip-hop dancing because they seem like very different activities. But the main thing to remember is to avoid rushing through the points with your partner. Remember, going into depth will let you demonstrate more advanced language. Let's look at 2 sample answers. E-gaming and chess aren't very good for getting fit, but they might be good for meeting people with similar interests. Sports like swimming or soccer are better for people who want to get fit. This answer isn't bad, but the candidate is trying to cover too many things too quickly. This means the answer is simple, and the candidate can't use much advanced or interesting language. Let's look at a better answer. Of course, chess isn't a good way to get fit because it's a sedentary activity. It's exercise for the mind, not for the body. I'm not sure how social chess is, but I guess you could connect with people by talking about tactics and exchanging tips on how to play. By focusing on 1 point, chess, the candidate can go into more detail and use a wider range of language. Focusing on this will help your score, and your score depends on the language you use, not how many points you cover. Tip number 3, use all the time you have. After 2 minutes, the examiner will ask you to reach a decision with your partner. The question might be something like this. which of these activities would be the most beneficial for young people? When responding to this question, don't try to reach a decision too early. Your goal is to discuss the question with your partner, not answer it. You have 1 minute to discuss your ideas with your partner and try to reach a conclusion. Once you feel that you're near the end of the minute, use a phrase to show your partner that you should finish the discussion. Here are some phrases you could use. So, are we in agreement that soccer is the most beneficial? Alright, it's safe to say that we agree that soccer is the most beneficial. Are we on the same page? But here's one important point to remember. In part 3, it's not necessary that you agree at the end. In fact, disagreeing can give you the opportunity to demonstrate some advanced language and communication skills. So my next tip for part 3 of the CAE speaking exam is learn ways to agree and disagree. Firstly, when you state an opinion, what do you usually say? Here are some examples. I'm of the opinion.
Teacher,
Yep.
I tend to believe that.
but the best sport is the swimming.
Okay.
Sports like soccer are really beneficial for young people.
It's exercise in all the body.
Work together as a team. Or, I tend to believe that physical activities like swimming or surfing are more beneficial than things like chess or e-gaming. Or, I feel as if the best activity depends on the individual. They could all be beneficial, but different people will take different things from each activity. Now, if you agree with the other candidate, you can say, I totally agree. Or, that's a good point. Or, I tend to agree that. But you may also disagree, and this really gives you the chance to show your good manners. I see what you're saying, but I suppose I would add that. Or, may I also suggest that? Or, I'm with you on that. However, now if you can't come to a conclusion together at the end of part 3, you think of what you could say. Imagine that your partner believes that soccer is the most beneficial, but you believe that hip-hop dancing is more beneficial. What would you say? Here's one possibility. So I guess we're not in agreement as to which activity is the most beneficial. I'd say that soccer is the most beneficial, whereas he is leaning towards hip-hop dancing. The examiners really like to see candidates who interact politely, so practicing a few of these phrases will help you demonstrate this. Tip number 5, ask for partners. As you see, you need to focus on interacting with your partner in the CAE speaking exam. This is especially important in part 3 because you talk only to your partner during this part. The examiner doesn't take part in the discussion. How can you interact with your partner, make the conversation feel more natural? A good way is to ask your partner for his or her opinion whenever you can. Can you think of some useful phrases to do this? Some examples are, what do you think? Do you know what I mean? How do you feel about that? You could also use a more colloquial phrase like, do you get what I'm saying? What do you reckon? Where do you stand on this? Just make sure that you also spend time giving your opinions too. To get the best scores, you and your partner need to balance your talking time. Don't talk for too long. Bring your partner into the conversation often. Next, let's look at part 4 of the CAE speaking test. In part 4, the examiner asks candidates questions about their opinions about topics related to part 3. If you've been talking about sports and activities in part 3, part 4 would continue on this topic. For example, one question might be, do you think that sport should be compulsory at school? This part lasts for 5 minutes. The examiner will ask you several questions. The examiner asks you the questions, but then you need to interact with your partner. A lot of the advice and language you've seen in this video is also useful for part 4. Using filler phrases, agreeing and disagreeing, and interacting with your partner are still important in part 4, so you can use a lot of of the advice you've already seen in this video. However, let's look at some advice that can help you with Part 4 specifically. First, always develop your ideas. This is important throughout your CAE speaking test, but it's especially important in Part 4. With everything you say, always add reasons, examples, or counterarguments. Let's look at a sample question. Do you think that sport should be compulsory at school? Here's a sample answer. Yes, I think so. It's really important for personal development. This answer's okay. The candidate provided a reason, and that's a great start. But can you think of how to improve it? Let's develop the answer by adding some examples. Can you think of any? For instance, playing sport can help a person to develop leadership skills as well as self-discipline. Many sports also involve teamwork. They can learn how to get along with others and make friends. You can see that adding a detailed example like this allows the candidate to use more advanced vocabulary like leadership skills or self-discipline. Let's look at another question and see how we can improve it. Do you think that some sports are more suitable at school than others? Here's a possible answer. I think that sports that involve a lot of physical activity are better because they are good for your health. Again, this answer isn't bad. We can improve it by adding more details. Adolescence is a time when the body is changing rapidly. By getting exercise when you're young, you set yourself up for better health later in life. What do you think? Again, adding details makes the answer more interesting and also allows you to use a wider range of language. Also, notice how the candidate invites the opinion of his partner by asking, "What do you think?" This makes the answer even stronger. Let's look at one more sample question, but this time we'll try to add a counter-argument. Some people say that to be healthy on the inside, you need to start from the outside. What's your opinion on this? Here's the sample answer. For sure, I think that it's important to be physically healthy as it affects the way you feel. This answer is too short. Can you think of a counter-argument to add? Of course, it works the other way too. In my opinion, being happy and satisfied with your life can affect your physical health too. Being stressed for a long time can make a person sick. Adding counter-arguments allows you to use linking words and discourse markers like "of course" or "in my opinion." Finally, remember that you're also interacting with your partner. Don't just develop your own answers. Build on what your partner says too. You can do this in the same way. Comment on your partner's answers and add your own details, suggestions, counter-arguments, just like we did here. Let's look at one more general tip which can help you, especially during Part 4. Get informed. Some people are already good at expressing their opinions, but some of us don't feel confident doing this, especially in a second language. When you take a speaking exam like the CAE, it's not just about English. It's about your ideas and opinions and how well you can communicate them to others. This is a more general tip, but reading widely, keeping up with the news, and thinking about current affairs can help you in your CAE speaking exam. Read news and opinion articles on news sites such as the BBC or Al Jazeera. Of course, it's better to read in English, but you could also read in your own language. The goal is to expose yourself to as many different opinions as possible. The good news is, even if you don't have a lot of time until your exam, you can give yourself an advantage by reading current affairs and starting to think about what your opinions are. When you read, think about what you're reading and try to form your own opinions. This way, you'll be able to talk about a wide range of topics and you'll have more interesting ideas and opinions that you can use in your CAE speaking test. Let's review what we've covered today. To improve your score on parts 3 and 4 of the CAE speaking exam, these are my top tips. 1. Learn conversation fillers. 2. Focus on depth and detail. 3. Make sure you use all the time. 4. Learn how to agree and disagree. 5. Bring your partner into the conversation by asking for his or her opinion. 6. Always develop your ideas. 7. Read widely to expose yourself to different opinions and ideas. But I have one more very important tip for you, and that's to practice. Practice with a friend, with your teacher, or in class. Really use these opportunities to practice agreeing, disagreeing, or using fillers like the ones we learned today. If you have a friend who is also preparing for the CAE speaking exam, try to think of your own part 3 and 4 questions, or find some online, and just practice them together. In this lesson, we've talked about a lot of different language structures that you can use. However, practicing with a friend, your teacher, or in class is essential. You can even try to think of your own part 4 type of questions and share them together. So that's the end of the lesson. Thanks very much for watching, and good luck for your CAE speaking.
Okay, guys, was the second video. Okay, so I'm going to share with you in the screen. We are going to see the activity guide and the rubric. Okay, guys, evaluation rubric.
Okay.
First, okay, let's review the 4 parts. This test, we're going to attend it, I don't know, the next Saturday and Sunday. You tell me. It's just going to be just 1 hour or 40 minutes, I think, because the test is going to be like 10 or 15 minutes, but I asked the teacher if for how long is going to be the video, and she told me that it must be for 40 or 50 minutes, because I supposed to have 5 or 6 students, but the 2 groups are just for each one of you, each group. So, but anyway, I have to present you a previous topic. Okay, we're going to talk about some tips, and then we're going to start the test. Okay. I don't know. Just during the middle of the week, you can choose when we are going to attend the test. Okay. First, the part 1. Remember, guys, there are 2 minutes. A conversation of 2 minutes where you are going to answer some question about the everyday activities. Okay. Remember,
Okay.
long answers about what you do in the weekend, about what do you like to do on holidays, etc. Are not going to be strong questions. The part 2, remember, 1 minute to compare 2 pictures and speculate about them. Well-organized thoughts and connecting words and sentences. It's important to do this exercise: describing, comparing, and speculating. I know you now can do that, because during all these 16, 15 sessions, you have seen pictures. Remember the picture of the dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are good describing. Compare, maybe the dog, she's hitting his husband because she's mad because he was in the billiard or something like that. Remember, you can
She's
compare, but
nagging.
yeah, remember, remember to speculate what the people are
Yeah.
doing the picture. And Jimmy, and for you, Alejandro, too, please, like we are going to be the 3 of us in the test, I don't want any of you interrupt the other guy. Okay, please, like Alejandro said, remember, like Jimmy said, bull. No, just let the Alejandro answer the question. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. The part 1 and 2, it's individual. I'm going to ask you the question individually, okay? But the part 3 and 4, it's for both of you. Remember, you have, if I include, and we are going to do an exercise. I'm going to show you, okay? If I start with one of you, for example, I make the question to Jimmy. You start, Jimmy, the part 3. You start, but remember, you have to involve, you have to connect, you have to share to join the Alejandro the conversation. Okay, remember. Okay, don't you can't talk all the whole minutes you alone. Okay,
Okay.
remember, guys. Remember to include the other guy. You can include in what do you think about the ask the questions, Jimmy? Okay, da, 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 and you what do you no? I don't I don't agree because da da da. Remember, okay, you have to share.
Okay.
And in the part 3 and 4, I am not going to talk. Okay, it's only
Okay.
both of you. Just I am just asking a question. No, I'm going to show you a picture with a questions and 4 choices, and you can talk about that. Okay. And part 4, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about the part 3. Yeah. Okay. Remember,
Okay.
part 1, 2 minutes. Part 2, 1 minute. Part 3, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to share ideas, to give answers. But at the end, I'm going to ask you a last question in the part 3 to get a conclusion. Okay, you will have 1 minute, each one of you, to get a conclusion. For example, I'm going to ask you about the weather. What do you think about the forestations in North America? You can start, okay, I like the summer because everybody goes out and have fun. I know I like more winter because I can play with the snow. Okay, okay. But at the in the part 3, I'm going to ask you. But what do you think is the most important of the 4 seasons? Okay, Alexandro start, for example, and I think the most important season is winter because the rain allows improving the nature, or okay, something like that. And what do you think, Alejandro, Jimmy, the other guy? You have each one of you have 1 minute to get a conclusion about the question. Okay,
Okay.
it's the part
Okay.
4. I'm going to ask you some questions about the seasons, for example. So, what do you think the people prefer to do in autumn? Okay, Alejandro. Start Alejandro, but remember, include Jimmy in the conversation. The part 3 and 4, it's a work of of both of you. Okay, guys?
Okay.
Part 3 and 4.
Okay.
Here I'm going to show you the tips that this guy shows in the video, in the YouTube video. Remember, develop the answers, learn keywords, learn how to compare and speculate. Remember to use well your time. Remember to use all the whole time, the 1 minute, 2 minutes, the other 2 minutes, the 5 minutes. Remember to use the whole time. If you don't have a idea what I'm talking about, but anyway, I'm going to ask you simple questions. But if you don't have an idea about the question, please, you can use this,
Conversation fearless.
yeah, the fillers. Oh yes, teacher. Remember, guys,
Teacher,
don't.
can you share in the chat the 2 videos that we saw?
Yeah, no,
Yes.
I have here the reference, the 2 videos. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to
Yes.
share.
Can you?
I'm going to share you this activity guide and the rubric in the chat, in the Skype, and in the WhatsApp chat. Okay, guys, don't worry. I'm going to share you, and you can see the videos during the week. In the middle of the week, we can see the videos. You can ask me some questions. Okay, guys. For the reason I didn't want to do the test today because I want you to have some time to prepare your test. You can make exercise, you can see pictures, describe, speculate, and compare about them. Okay?
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this activity will this activity develop with another students?
No,
With
only
the
one
fam-
of you. And I have the
Okay.
other group. The other group, I'm going to attend the test next Tuesday, but the next weekend are going to be only you guys, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
References. Okay, here is the evolution rubric. You are going to be evaluated for 20 points, okay, in these 5 steps or 5 topics. I could say grammar, pronunciation, answer, organized thoughts, vocabulary. Okay, each one of you is going to give you 4 points. Okay, guys, let's make a little exercise. Okay, stop sharing. Okay, here. Remember, guys, you have 2 minutes, 2 minutes to talk about the topic, and 1 minute to make a conclusion about the question I'm going to ask you after you talk.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to put here. Okay, guys. Okay.
Do you remember?
Okay, guys. Alejandro, what is people's favorite means of transportation? Okay, guys, an advice. I'm going to show you this screen in the part 3. I'm going to show you this screen. I'm going to give you 20 seconds, more or less. Please take it a picture. You can write, you can memorize, because after that, I'm going to return to the chat, okay?
Okay.
And to the chat because I need to see your faces or you talking about the topic, okay, guys? I'm going to show you
Okay.
this image for 30 seconds. In these 20 seconds, you can take a picture of the screen. Um, you can start to talking about these questions. Okay, okay, Alejandro. What's the people's favorite means of transportation? Okay, okay.
Well,
Two
you teacher
minutes.
show me 4 answers: plane, car, television, mobile. I don't remember. I think the best favorite of transportation maybe the car, because in nowadays all the families has one car, so the transportation will be more easy in the way that you can travel around the city or in the foreign cities or even in the foreign country. What do you think, Jimmy?
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm the same page than you. Is the course perfect? On the in the bad weather, if you try to buy a plane, it's really expensive. Not all the family can get a hangar, so the best transportation for the people i- is simple the car. I don't know why the television or mobile. Can you drive a TV?
Okay, we
Yeah,
both
boy.
agree with the car is the best. Well, it's the best. It's the best thing to transport people.
Okay, guys, remember to use all the time, but your answer were good. I'm going to ask you a final question about the tree. What do you think, Jimmy? What do you think is the safest medium of transportation? Medium of transportation.
I will say the plane. The plane
Plane?
is a the plane is a really fast, safe transportation because you're safe from car crash or motorcycle crash. What can be really expensive by one by yourself, and the tickets, well, they are very expensive. Do you think that, Alejandro?
Yeah, I'm the same page with you. Despite it can be depends of the of the people because some people think about the car maybe is the safest major transportation that one of the family can travel, but I can say the same about Jimmy because he said that you can be afraid about some car or motorcycle crashes. Also in the route, maybe it will be some animals on or some how can I say some mountain desolations that can stop all the route. Sorry.
Okay, guys,
Um,
remember that the last part of this three part is only 1 minute. Okay, but it's good. It's good. The fourth part, I'm going to ask you some questions about what do you think about the traveling by train, Alejandro?
by train. Well, in Colombia there is no train, not a physical train. In the cities there are some buses that you can travel each the city to other. It can be safe, yeah, also safe, um, less expensive to travel in the plane, but there is some issues that can be in the car.
Yeah. Jimmy,
Yep. The train.
what?
What I think about the train? The train. I sincerely I have no experience with the trains with the well traveling in train, but I saw on internet on YouTube the amazing distance and fast that can they get is less expensive. Um, uh, one can be really dangerous to the wildlife because some animals can get stuck in the trainways in the
Railroads.
railroads.
Yeah.
So can be dangerous for the wild animals because you have seen some railroads in the mountains. You can see railroads across deserts. They have no um, middle walls what get away the animals, so it's dangerous for the animals. Sometimes can
Okay.
affect the life. Okay.
Remember, guys, in the part three and four, I'm not going to interact, okay? For the reason when I ask you, Alejandro, about what do you think about traveling on train, you should ask um, Jimmy what he thought, okay? What he think
Okay.
about that, what he thinks about that. Or, hey, could you give me your opinion, Jimmy? Or connect, okay? If I see that you finish your answer, I'm going to give you another question, to ask you another question, okay? Okay, guys, I made a mistake because in this picture, it's supposed to be by plane, by car, by train, and by ship. But I was changing some pictures, and I didn't. I forgot that I changed that. But it's anyway, it's good. It's good exercise. Remember, please share. Part 3, share. Remember time, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute to conclusion. The part 4, 5 minutes to answer questions. If I ask, for example, Jimmy, remember, give your answer, connect to Jimmy, to Alejandro, give me
Yep.
your, you can give me your answer, and I am going to ask you another question, okay? That's the part 4. Okay, guys. Let me see if I see anything else here that you need to attend the test. I think that's everything, guys, for today. So please remember, practice with some pictures, describe, compare, speculate, and that's all. I think that, guys, that's all for today. Please agree with the meeting, with the final test, and we will see next Sunday, Saturday, on Sunday. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Okay, I will let you in this, in the chat, in the Skype chat, in the Skype and WhatsApp chat, the 2 videos, and guys, Skype and rubric for the final test. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Have a nice Sunday. Do you have any question?
For none. No.
Yeah. Yes. Is the
Okay, tell me.
las hojas de árbol are leaves or?
Leaves. Yeah, 3 leaves.
Okay.
2 leaves. Yeah. Okay, guys. See you next Saturday or Sunday. Bye-bye. Have a nice
Bye.
week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Same.